I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. Today's commentary is Wednesday, February the 24th, 2021. We're going to do commentary and a discussion about Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is one of the senators from the state of Texas. As I had said in another commentary, my reason for basically being MIA in doing commentary last week, it was because of the winter weather storm that we all within various states of the United States, Mississippi, Texas, just numerous states suffered severe winter weather storm. Snow in the state of Mississippi, that's not something we often get. It's very rare, but this was one of more severe that I can remember within my time. Power, many people had lost power, didn't have water. Texas also suffered very severe and extreme experiences during this winter storm. And what did their senator do? Instead of staying there to try and help resolve the issue that was going on, again, people without power, no water, didn't have heat, he and his family, his wife and 2 daughters, goes to Cancun, Mexico, to the beach, where the weather is warm and pleasant and nice. And after being dragged on social media, because this was like on a Thursday, maybe it might have happened like Wednesday, but it kind of hit like Thursday. Like I said, he goes, he and his wife and 2 daughters goes to Cancun, Mexico. It's been said how he basically threw his own 2 daughters under the bus, said that it was their idea. They had asked, well, since school has been canceled for the week, can we go somewhere warm? And according to Ted Cruz, oh, I was trying to be a good dad, whatever. So Heidi and I, which is his wife, decided to take the girls, and we would just go to the beach, go to Cancun. He said, well, as soon as I got on the plane, I almost, now keep in mind, almost began to regret it. He did not begin to regret it. What he realized once he was on the plane and he had his phone, so therefore he was keeping up with social media and all of that, he was being dragged. He was being dragged on Twitter and just news outlets, social media, the internet at large, because here you are, a servant to your constituents. At least that's what you're supposed to be. You're a public figure. You're a United States senator. You left your constituents, the state of Texas, out in the freezing cold. Many, like he at his home himself, no power, no water, didn't have food, all the amenities and things of this perspective, to take a nice little cozy getaway to Cancun, Mexico. And I don't know if he thought that was okay. I don't know if he thought he would get away with that. I don't know what his thinking was, other than obviously he just, hey, well, our license off, so we're gonna go to Mexico. That's what he basically shown as a public figure, a United States servant, a senator to the people of Texas. And he threw his, once all this began to, like I said, he being dragged. Okay, well, you get a report where he's coming back. He was coming back, flying back in Thursday or Friday, whenever the day was. And he said, well, I had only just planned to stay for like a night. But as they showed, and you can do your own research, Google it, just put in Ted Cruz, and you can see it. He had one of those roller suitcase in a bag. And it seemed as he was prepared for more than just overnight. And he didn't have to go down. Who spends money just to go down for a day and come back to Cancun, Mexico? I mean, he's trying to play us as if we're dumb. The thing is, he got caught getting away to escape to being comfortable, he and his family. And instead of, as many have stated, because he said his girls asked to go, so he thought he was being a good dad, he and his wife decided to say, well, school is out, so we'll just go for a few days and come back on. They were supposed to come back on Sunday. And but instead of him using that as a teaching moment, he just used and exercised what many white people are used to, their white privilege. That's what he showed his two daughters. Okay, we're gonna utilize your white privilege, our white privilege of getting away. I'm not gonna worry about my constituents that's out here in the freezing cold, don't have the amenities of electricity, having water, being able to eat, and all of this. Because again, with this weather that we were experiencing, truckers couldn't get to grocery stores to keep the grocery store stocked. People had lost power, therefore you didn't have light, you couldn't heat your home, hard to stay warm, you weren't able to have running water. It even showed a picture online on social media that he left his dog, and to my understanding, the dog name is Snowflake, cute little old dog. But Ted Cruz and his wife left their dog while their family of 4 went to Cancun, Mexico. And now it's being reported that Ted has said that his wife Heidi is pissed that her text to their neighbors and some friends inviting them also to go to Cancun got late. And let me read this text message. It's got Heidi Cruz. It's got, no, we are down at, and this is blacked out. I'm basically not giving the name. And their power just went out now last night. Is everyone warm? That's a must. We could all huddle in one house, had heat. Anyone can or want to leave for the week. We may go to Cancun. There is a direct flight at 4:45 p.m. in hotels with capacity. Seriously, COVID tests to come back, which we will take there, meaning in Cancun. We are coming back to our house today just to sleep here with, and that's blacked out too. We are now thinking along those lines. Sounds wonderful. This is somebody responding. We're supposed to go to Cabo Friday. That's another person that responded to the text. So you can test when you get there. That's our biggest holdup. And this is what Heidi Cruz, she got Wednesday, February the 17th, United flight 1020, 4:45 p.m. Landing in from Houston, landing in Cancun at 8:02 p.m. and they would return. So they left out on a Wednesday. This is their flight. Leave Wednesday 4:45. Get to Cancun at 8:02 p.m. Sunday, February the 21st. Leaving from Cancun at 4:45 p.m. We'll get back to Houston at 6:15. And they made reservation at the Ritz-Carlton Cancun, $309 plus tax. So like $309 plus tax. I don't know if that was a $309 per night or what. And then she got on here, are you guys warm enough? We have a fireplace. Let us know. Our house is freezing, though, is why we stayed with whoever they stayed with last night. Couldn't stand it anymore. Cancun, Cabo, even Boston sounds amazing. That's someone that someone in the text. I'm just going to be reading what Heidi. But yeah, it's been reported that she's pissed. Ted Cruz's wife, Heidi Cruz, is pissed that her friends, neighbors leaked her text. Well, see, that's the thing. She's pissed that they got caught. There's no piss to, well, we were wrong, we shouldn't have done this. And even if perhaps if their daughters actually did ask, they're the adults, they're the parents. They could have said, well, sweetheart, we don't think it's a good idea, because we got to realize, your dad is a senator. He's a public service to many people here to the people at large in our state. And this is something we're all experiencing, and it wouldn't be right for our family to take a little mini vacation, and we're leaving many people without that without being able to have warmth because the lights is off, and then they don't have water and food and everything. So it could have been a teaching moment, but Heidi is pissed, and that's laughable. She's pissed that her neighbors, her friends, and I think it was Anna Navarro from The View this past Friday, said they must don't like her, they aren't her friends, if you're gonna leak the text message. And it was like a group text message with multiple people in the text message. But from Wednesday to Sunday, they were going to be, and to my knowledge, it was only Ted that came back, so which means that Heidi and their daughters remained in Cancun, Mexico, which he was met by the press and all of that. They said he had asked for police protection and all of that to, getting through security and everything at the airport, where those people, the policemen, could have been trying to help with the situation that was going on at large due to this winter storm. But Ted Cruz leaves his constituents in the state of Texas, and then once he did return, there's, again, go out there and do your own research, Google, however you would like, him putting water in people's car with his hand on a lady's shoulder and trying to pretend that he now cared after the fact. Because he said it was almost as soon as he got on the plane, he realized, well, he second guessed, I shouldn't have done this. No, you shouldn't have done this, Ted Cruz. And he has often mocked other people for doing things. AOC, who is a House of Representatives for the state of New York, but over the weekend, she raised over $1 million. I think it even may be up to like over $2 million for those residents, those citizens for the state of Texas, where their United States Senator chose to leave them on their own, without power, without water, hungry, and things of this, while he and his family go on a luxury getaway to Cancun at the Ritz-Carlton. That's what Ted Cruz, and then his wife had the audacity to be pissed that her text message got leaked with her asking neighbors and friends that they too want to join along with their family with a getaway, while all these other people out here trying to fend for themselves. Also, Brado, who the gentleman that he ran for president for a little while, but then he dropped out of the presidential race. And he also ran against Ted Cruz for the state senator, which he didn't win. He was a Democrat nominee. He also was out there helping the citizens, residents of the state of Texas, while Ted Cruz went on a little luxury getaway, and then upon being caught and being dragged on social media, he throws his own 2 kids under the bus. This is the action of Ted Cruz. So I just wanted to do commentary in regards about that. Like I say, he was out there on social media. He left his own dog to fend for himself and call himself being a... I want to play a clip. Listen, this is from The View.
He got back, but he keeps changing his tone.
This is from The View about Ted Cruz.
It's hard to keep up with this guy, and he's not up for re-election until 4 more years or something. So, what do you think?
Right. I think he got caught. I think it's just terribly tone deaf as a senator for leaving a humanitarian crisis in your home state, the state that you represent, leaving the constituents that you represent. What is remarkable to me is that people were defending him, people in the Republican Party, conservatives in the media. They were saying things like, well, what, could he have done if he were there? A lot. He could have done a lot. Senators have, special connections. They're able to get things done. I mean, look at what Beto O'Rourke, the senator they could have had in Texas, did. I mean, he was, calling around to seniors. He mobilized many people. He saved lives. And so I think it's certainly par for the course for Senator Cruz. Let's face it, he hasn't been held accountable for his role in the January 6th insurrection, and he's probably not going to be held accountable for this. I will say this. I was really dismayed by the fact that he threw his family under the bus. He said, I was just trying to be a good dad. Well, I remember when there was, Superstorm Sandy here, and I didn't take my kids away. What my son at the time wanted to do was to try to help. He mobilized some of his friends and started giving out water and things like that to people that needed it. And so for me, why didn't he teach his children to help other Texans? This was such a wonderful teaching moment for his girls. And rather than do that, he took everyone on a vacation to Cancun.
Right. It's shameful. But, he saw that Trump gets away with everything, so he figured he can get away with everything. Let's see if he's right. Anna, let me ask you this. Do you think it's fitting that Twitter is now whacking Cruz around like a piñata?
Yes, actually I do, because Ted Cruz is a guy who's very tech savvy, very Twitter savvy. He spent a hell of a lot of time trolling people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Seth Rogen on Twitter. So I'm surprised that he wouldn't have the savvy and the self-presence to know that he would get caught. But listen, it's so bad in so many different ways. Like Sonny explained, there is a role for elected officials during a catastrophe. There is a role for them to be a liaison with the federal government. And as a constituent, you want to see your public servants, not spring breakers, public servants serving their constituents at a time of need. As somebody who has lived through a lot of hurricanes in Florida, that's what you want to see. But not only did he abandon his state, he abandoned his duties. Then he lied about it. Only reason he came back is because he got caught. Then he pretended he was only going for one night, mind you, with a bag that looked like if it was RuPaul going on vacation for one night. Then came back and blamed his 10-year-old and 12-year-old daughters, saying that they were the ones asking for the trip and he was just being a good father. Then he changed that story around. Oh, let's not forget he was using state resources, asking the police to escort him to and from the airport, police who could have been helping out some of his constituents. Let's also not forget that his neighbors obviously hate him because they released the text from Heidi Cruz, inviting them to this elite resort in Cancun. Let us not forget that Ted Cruz has attacked other politicians for doing exactly the same thing. And let us not forget the kicker, that he left his poodle alone. His poodle, which ironically enough is named Snowflake. So Senator Snowflake, who abandoned his duties, left his 5-pound poodle. There's a picture. No, Anna, I do know.
Maybe there was someone maybe there was someone in the house. No one in their right mind leaves a dog in the house while they go to Mexico for whatever time. That's insane. This is a whole other level of
Joyce,
craziness.
a reporter went to check on see if the house had electricity. There is a picture. Go look at my Twitter feed of the 5-pound poodle
I saw
named
the picture
Snowflake.
of the dog.
Okay, in the house.
Let me ask you. Okay. Which is worse, leaving the poodle at home or tying the dog to the roof? Remember, Romney did that. Let me move on to Sarah before we run out of time here. So, Sarah, do you think that he should have known this trip wouldn't go over well? What do you say?
Oh, absolutely.
I'll just stop it there. But again, that was from the View last Friday when the ladies were talking about Ted Cruz taking a trip to Cancun, Mexico, to get away from not having power and heat and no water, but left his constituents in the state of Texas to just fend for themselves. He had no better respect. Then tried to say it was his daughter. And then again, even if the children ask, he is the adult. He is this public, the representation, a public servant to every citizen in the state of Texas. He could have said, well, sweethearts, We just can't do that. Daddy's got to stay here and try and help everyone to see what we can do to get our lights back on so that we can have heater in our homes. And he could simply say no. As someone has said, sometimes you just have to tell your children no. But what he's shown was just white privilege, tone deaf, as it was stated, and no concern for the job in which he has been elected to do. So I hope the citizens of Texas are paid attention to what he did. And let's keep in mind, he voted to overturn the will of the people for the Biden electors. Even after the insurrection that took place, he still voted against the will of the American people that had voted for Biden. And Trump called his wife ugly. But Ted Cruz, is one of Trump's biggest advocates. What is going on with people? What is truly going on with people in the Republican Party? Just be awake. That's what I say to the citizens of the state of Texas. You need, when Ted Cruz time is up, although I say he and Josh Hollis need to be expelled for their roles in regards to the insurrection that took place January the 6th, but Ted Cruz is not a good representation. And I hope the citizens of Texas, when it's come time to vote again, you will, maybe Berto Barreto will run again. I don't know, but you need better representation. You need someone that won't leave you to fend for yourself in a winter storm where you have no power, no heat, no water, no food, don't have the normal necessity that you need to function, and your senator goes to a cozy, warm beach in Cancun, Mexico, stays at the Ritz-Carlton, a very elite, expensive, nice hotel, and leaves you to fend for yourself. You have to hold him accountable. Ted Cruz needs to be held. This was complete tone deaf. It was insensitive, and it's not something a public servant should be doing when his constituents is left in the freezing cold. And as we know, Texas have experienced a lot of bad things. They had hurricanes and all of this, and then you in a winter storm, and this is what your senator does. He flees with his family to Cancun, Mexico, to the beach. He was shown, I think they said it was in the airport in a lounge, again with his phone. He was constantly on his phone and like maybe drinking or something. He wasn't in, he was relaxing. He was waiting to get to Mexico and relax on the beach. He wasn't thinking about what was going on with the people that were left behind without power, with no way to warm their house. And think about, these people had families, children, but he took his kids on a cozy vacation. Tone deaf, insensitive, don't care. And that's not a public servant being humble. No, that's someone that's showing, I'm almost like I'm better than you. I don't care that you in the freezing cold. Because he said, well, the girls asked and how I made the decision, and if you can do it, just everybody can't do that. Do you think if everybody could, how many people would have? But everybody doesn't have the luxury, doesn't have the money. What we were trying to do was simply get power on, have warmth, have food, have running water, not to escape or flee to a cozy vacation, and it's not even spring break. Well, just because school had been canceled because of a winter storm. He take his family to Cancun, Mexico. Tone deaf, insensitive, inconsiderate, flat out boastful. To the residents, and I have family in Texas, I do hope when his term expires that he will not be re-elected to be your representation. To be your representation, because you saw what he did in a time of crisis. He left you to fend for yourself. Remember that every citizen in the state of Texas that's a registered voter, and if you are not registered to vote, please register. And when it's time to vote, I don't care what the matter, whether it's the local level or when it's time to elect a senator or the president, the upper level, make sure to exercise your right to vote, because that's the only way you can really be heard and make a difference. I'm LaMarsha Lewis. Let's